Now, how do I even start a video like this?
I was gonna rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me.
Well, at least this was my mentality when I started pushing. I had a clear goal of reaching top 1 global, and I obviously had to prepare in order to achieve this goal, because obviously other players were pushing as well, so I need clearly some key moments to stand out and actually reach my goal. So while we're watching the rewards from my season reset, I'll go through my push preparation. First of all, I had to farm win streak on each brawler, so basically each of 86 brawlers had to have at least a 5 win streak, which I didn't really accomplish because in some moments I was lazy, some moments I was just like, okay, well, this won't matter much, but actually it did matter. But anyways, I farmed on the majority of the brawlers a good win streak, which had to be above 5, so I get the maximum amount of trophies on the next battle, which is plus 5. This plays the role essentially in the higher trophies where, for example, on 700 and above you get only plus 1, and this plus 5 is really clutching your whole situation, which makes the push much faster and obviously much easier. Then I had to analyze how to spend my time throughout the push, which meant not only choosing the correct modes, but also knowing when the mode arrives. Basically, highest, for example, for me personally, switches at 5 PM, which means that at around 5 PM I should consider picking something to highest. I should also have the teammates who are willing to play highest, because not everybody likes this mode, just like me, because yeah, it's maybe a quicker mode, but I honestly played my whole life in Brawl, so highest is kinda unusual for me, but I had to adapt. And also my teammates are most of the times pushing something they want, so they had to pick something playable, they had to pick something meta, which wasn't always the case, and changing modes was sometimes a struggle, but I had to adapt to it. And then the teammates preparation, which is obviously the most important one, to pick people who will not only listen to you, but who also have hands, who are also available. All these factors play a huge role, especially at hours when you don't have many people online. It's mostly at night, for example, after 2 AM, it's pretty hard to find anyone, and especially between 4 and 10 AM, it's the hardest time to find any teammates available. I had even times when like almost 0 people were online at 8 AM, I guess. So yeah, around these hours it's the most important to have someone, because then you waste most of your time. And when you ask me about the sleep, well, I'll talk about this a little bit later, but yeah, throughout the push, sleep is really not an option, especially when you're going for first global. Let's begin with how did this whole push even begin. So I uploaded, I think around 2 weeks ago, a video that I'm planning to push, and just around the time I knew that End is coming to me, so he's coming to my town, he'll be with me for around a month. So I had to plan something special, because just chilling around would be kind of boring. So we were like, why not pushing top 1 global, because there's nothing else to do, right? I mean, we just decided out of nowhere to push, and I also promised already my subscribers to reach top 1 global again, so at this point I had to push only to deliver on my promise. But it's not that I didn't enjoy the push, but when I make such promises I had to complete them, and I obviously wanted to see at the people's reaction when many people told me that I won't be able to repeat my past achievement of reaching top 1 global. So it was kind of a challenge for me, and I'm always looking forward for such challenges, which are pretty much adopted by the majority of people, but I'm still here to prove them wrong. Well, besides that, I also wanted to see how strong I am in pushing overall, because last time I did it was, as I said, around 2 years ago, so I might be rusty, my skill may be not the same, some teammates might leave me, so yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and not that many people are willing to put themselves into such circumstances, but it is what it is, and I'm always looking forward to something which many people want to avoid because of this difficulty, so I just went all in and was okay, let's just do it. Now that I explained everything, I think it's the best time to show you my progression. You can already see some games on the background where I reached some of my milestones, and to be fair, I didn't have a certain milestone besides reaching top 1 global, so that meant that if the top 1 global was 150k, I had to reach 151 at least. It's also pretty hard to point out some difficulties. Obviously, as I mentioned before, finding teammates at crucial hours like deep night or early morning was pretty hard, because when someone leaves you for some random reason, maybe the teammate is tired, can be that some emergency happened, and then you're cooked, because you're highly unlikely to find someone at these pretty unpopular hours to play. So that was certainly the difficulty that I was afraid the most, but luckily it didn't really happen that often. Then I obviously had the permanent teammate, which was pretty decent and meant that me and Ant had to find just one guy to push with and not two, which was the challenge for the other guys who were pushing at the time. This saved us obviously a lot of time, and I'm grateful to Ant for pushing with me, because you have to remember that pushing is not necessarily about the skill. Obviously only a certain small amount of people can qualify to even start pushing, but I believe that maintaining a really good schedule and having teammates is much more important. And talking about schedules, yeah, the sleep schedule went completely off. I was just pushing non-stop. And when I mean non-stop is zero sleep. Like literally these 2 days I slept 0 minutes, 0 hours, which meant that I played for almost 50 hours in a row, which is like crazy. But yeah, I don't know how I even managed to last that long, because I haven't tried anything like this before. I'm also very grateful to Ant once again, because I was kinda confident in myself, and at the same time not that confident in Ant, because I don't know how used is he to such schedules, but luckily he was pretty ready, and despite drinking all his Red Bulls, he stayed awake. And yeah, that was a horrific push from both sides. Not even at the last hours of the push, but when morning came around, it was the hardest, because then your body feels the most to get some rest, then you have to feel the most energized, and you feel the contrary. You feel kinda not only sleep deprived, but you feel just down bad. Your eyes want to close, and yeah, these are the hardest hours to go through. And after this crash, you feel after much better, which resulted also in a much better win rate. But you also have to remember that during night and early morning, the opponents are also much easier, so they kind of compensated for our lack of sleep, thanks to which we maintained our high win streak. And not only win streak, but our win rate was never falling below 90%, and in the end of the push it was around 93, because at the end we kind of tilted, and we had to reach eventually our goal despite any difficulties. And also I had to say that during the end we played with one teammate and she didn't sleep also, and yeah, this made the push much more difficult than I expected, but the most important thing was that I reached my initial goal. You can also see on your screens that I reached already more than 90k trophies, and I was still not even top 5 global, which was the most surprising part. I thought that I was pushing kinda quick, my win rate was good, but our games were kinda long, and we also lost a couple of games in the start, so this really slowed our progression in the start. But later I catched up, and I think it's the best time to actually put some highlights.
I got a bottle of Patron and some lights off, 2 red devil looking eyeballs, and I finna turn up when the night falls.
Now that I also showed you some highlights, let me tell you how I actually made the push so efficient, and let me actually share you some tips which I hope will help in your push actually. I obviously played with pretty strong players such as this B, which is going once again for world record, and it's crazy how he still plays B after like 3 seasons or something. Yeah, I don't know, I wouldn't be able to play the same brawler for that long, especially when you already reached the world record, so like, yeah, he's just crazy. And then I also have some other players. I obviously picked the best players possible in my team, which keep my win rate, as I said, above 90%. And I'm grateful for these guys for staying in my lobby. Some of them stayed till like 6 AM, such as George with his 2. You always have to convince your teammates to push what you need, otherwise the lower win rate will not only disappoint you, but there is also a higher chance that your teammate will leave, because he'll see that the strategy is not working, so he'll better leave to other team or just rest. Additionally, I had an analyst with whom we had to see where should I push, There are many modes in which you can push, but only some of them are really efficient and you gain the most trophies per hour possible. We decided to pick 3 main modes, which is Brawl, Heist and 5v5. These modes are the best for separate reasons, so let me go through each of them. First of all, let's start with the easiest one, which is Heist. In Heist you play the quickest games, but also there are not many brawls that you can push there. I would say that you can push there around 20 to 30 brawlers are pretty good to push and also quick, so you oftentimes trade your win rate to quicker games, so you can play for example 20% more games but your win rate falls around 2 or 3%. It's insanely important when you push like that, when every trophy matters. Then in Brawl it's obviously my best mode, but besides this you can push there the majority of the brawlers. I would say 80 or like 75 brawlers are pretty much pushable in Brawl. And then we have 5v5, but only Brawl because knockout takes way too long to push in. Obviously Sniper in his push use knockout as well, but I prefer to play only in Brawl 5v5 because it's easy anyways. And in the 5v5 Brawl you push your out of meta brawlers, which you can't push in Heist or normal Brawl, such as Mandy, Shelly. These are pretty good choice to push in 5v5, especially when it's your only low brawlers, which you have to push anyways because you gain the most trophies for them. As you can see on your screens, I'm already at 95k and top to global. I was already baked at this point, like we were playing Heist, so that means that it was around 2 or 3 AM and I had still to push at least 4.5k trophies to reach 100k. It was early morning by the time I reached not only 99k, but most importantly I overpassed Equac and finally placed first in the global leaderboards. But I actually didn't want to stop here. I want to make it clean and reach 100k. So after a dozen of games I was finally here, 1 game to 100k. It actually took us quite some time to reach here because we went to Heist and we tilted in some moments. We picked not the most meta comps. I also picked brawlers which were higher than I usually push because I tried to push my lower ones on 1k to 1.1. After this game I'll also tell you why I stopped and some other things which prevented me from going forward. Finally we're here with Lexa and End. I picked Rico to equalize my trophies so it's exactly 100k at the end. I picked Rico mostly because he's meta and also because of the trophies, as I said. A huge counter to tanks helps a lot. Buster is not good for my lane, he has way too much HP, but at least End is helping me. He has no defense, well, okay, he died, but it doesn't matter. We kill here the Buster and we can move to gain some position. We can't attack fully yet because our Barley isn't alive. Lexa has the super, so I'll try to pass, which results in a great goal. Yeah, 4 spectates only and 30 seconds just passed, so I hope we can really quickly win this game. Well, unless the Jarl just takes our Barley and our Mo is also dead because, yeah, now we're cooked. Yeah, Barley is passing to Buster and this seems to be a quick goal from the opposite side. 6 spectates and people are already eager to see this battle. Jarl and Buster has super. Now I died here pretty quickly, but at least Buster is low and yeah, no, actually Lexa took out Buster and Daryl was low and is also keeping the position against their Barley, which makes us take the control back. I also have my hypercharge, then I think only Daryl, maybe Barley has a hypercharge from their team. So even though they Daryl press, I die once again, but at least I make some significant damage on their tanks, so they remain on low HP. Also, End really keeps great position with his Barley, so our positions still look pretty bad, but at least we have me and Lexa ready to kill him. Yeah, Lexa once again carries it, and I finally managed to defeat this Daryl because he was way too annoying for our team. At this point we have 9 spectates and Barley throws. Kinda wastes his hypercharge honestly because he gained no position, no damage, no nothing. Lexa needs just 1 more super and I feel like if I get my hypercharge again, we'll be able to press them well. I mean, already the End does a great job, we get way too much control, we get a double kill. Now I have my hypercharge and we're ready to rush. I already got my super, so I'm looking forward to pass Lexa, but she's already in front of Buster who just respawned. Also Daryl responds quickly. I was about to pass her, so she supers, but we decided it was way too risky, so I just hypercharge and she goes in and actually managed to score a great trick shot here. Pretty epic way to end our road and to finally get our goal done. 100k, which looks insanely clean. And a quick reminder that I reached 100k for the first time in this push, and I did it in just 2 days. As you can see, first global, and just a little bit ahead of End, who helped me a ton pushing his higher brawlers. I mean, what can I say? I'm just way too happy, and despite being so sleepy, I reached my goal, and yeah, finally. Then also, yeah, I could kick from the team, but End reached his goal. I find him in 2 minutes, so don't worry. He reached also his goal and managed to get his top 1 global position, so I'm pretty happy for him. I'll obviously leave links in the descriptions for both End's and Lexus Media, but we don't stop here because I also have to explain you why I stopped at exactly 100k trophies. Now answering the most asked question when I stopped pushing. Why did I stop so early? I mean, first of all, the initial goal was to just become top 1 global. Doesn't matter for how long, doesn't matter at what trophies, and I accomplished it. And not only I did it, but I also reached 100k clean, which made it even better. So I more than accomplished the goal that I had, and I'm happy with it. Then we also have Equak, who is also pushing very well, and I wish him good luck because his push is about to be really good, and I think he can even avenge maybe Hyra. We'll see in the future. But then, as I was finishing my push, I noticed some really weird stuff, because many of my friends were talking and telling me with the same thing that Brawl Life is actually account sharing. What I mean by that is that 2 people are playing on the same iPad, which is not considered bannable, and Supercell can't do anything about it when it's like one iPad. But according to his battle log, to the hours he played, it's very suspicious, even though we don't have any 100% proofs. But yeah, especially after playing 2 days in a row, after seeing all of this, I was extremely demotivated, and since I already reached what I wanted to do, I decided to stop. Yeah, I'm still pretty happy with doing all that, and thanks once again to all of my teammates, because I don't know myself why I even managed to stay for so long, not only on, but actually functioning and playing against pretty dope enemies. As you can see, we beat many guys who have not only hands, but also considered esports players, very tough players. So yeah, the grind was, in my opinion at least, worth it. 2 days were not wasted for nothing, and once again, links for the teammates who helped me the most, which is like Lexa and End, in the description. Hope you enjoyed this voiceover video and the longer one, and see you in the next one.